Sunday at 12:53 FM 88.1 yard and Comcast cable. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible? Have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and the true meaning. So tune in to Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Sunday at 12:02 right here on C33 FM 88.1 yard and Comcast cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4346, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code 313. That's 313-868-4346, 868-0342, and 868-0351. And now let's go live. Scriptural discussion.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet all of you once again who have the hunger and thirst for Allah's truth, which is the Holy Scriptures, and His righteousness, which is laid out in the Holy Scriptures, and His understanding of His righteousness, which is the Holy Scriptures. I greet you all as the final representation of Him to you, that after me there is no more to be revealed as far as the understanding of the Scriptures go. I am the final revelation, the last book to come to you. And you would be wise to listen, take in, and let what Allah have given to me change you into a complete human being. And for the world have been guided by Satan for the past 6,000 years. Satan is like a doctor. Or a lawyer, or an engineer. Thank you. Or a scientist. Or a pianist. A professional. It is a learned mind that takes up residence, that has taken up residence permanently in beings. And it is a corrupt and corruptible mind. It is the mind of a child of sort. And it was placed in us in order for us to get experience so that we would not have to ask why. When given a better way. What I mean by that is if you have ever been drunk, if you didn't learn from watching somebody else be drunk, then you learn from being drunk yourself. Why it's not good to get drunk. So, wine, strong drink is a mocker. And that is a good way of putting it. Because after you trust strong drink, it makes mockery of you. When you try to walk straight, not under that influence, So it mocks you. And so we are here to give you that which will enable you to live in this vessel, a life that has no end. That is what the purpose is. You live in an unending universe, and you can't even begin to study that unending universe in your present condition. These are things that have not been conceived of people. Before anything can become a reality, it must be conceived. You cannot bring that new thing into existence if you cannot first conceive it. Just like a baby. If you want a baby, you got to first conceive. And it takes two. You see. Okay, how bad a woman want a baby or how bad a man want a baby. Can't do it by yourself. We got to do it. Let us make man. So, now before I go further, I want to address something that I appreciated the dignity of the current president, Barack Obama, and how he and Ms. Clinton and Bernie Sanders and Vice President Biden, in other words, the current administration, set an example that would do us all good to follow. You can't just believe in the political process when things go your way. If you can respect the political process when things go your way, show that you can respect it when things don't go your way. For the last 8 years, we have seen an example of how things look and work when you have people that don't respect the political process when it does not go their way. Do you understand? While promoting this system of government to the rest of the world, the Congress of the United States has been in direct opposition to this system of government at home. And have openly disgraced themselves in the eyes of all civilized people. I'm so happy that President Obama and his administration have shown that he meant it when he says, when they go low, we go high. That's an old saying. That's not something new. I'll take the high road, you take the low road. Now I'll get there before you. You ain't never sung that song, I know. But as the president said, we should all say, how can you say you wish America well and you wish America's president to fail? Beg your pardon?
I just wanted to remind you, I don't know if you, that's such a mind, if you didn't agree with people.
These things were so foremost in my mind that brother reminded me that I didn't finish greeting you. May Allah's salam alaikum. Even I've watched the people who hate us. Some of them, when President Obama was elected, they start showing insults of him and all of that kind of thing. If it looked ugly to you when people did that, don't do that to President Trump. Show people that you really are not a hypocrite. That if you teach or preach respectability, if you preach righteousness, but then show your righteousness when things don't go your way. When things didn't go their way, they manifested their hypocrisy and their wickedness. If you turn around and do the same, then where you condemned them, woe to thou, old man, that judgest another, and doest the same thing yourself. For wherein you judged others, you condemned yourself. So, if you care about the country, then you wish the leadership well. Does anyone disagree with that? When a man stands up and takes the oath of office to uphold the Constitution, he says, "So help me God." Most people don't realize that oath is also a prayer in there. If you cannot give something of encouragement to those who have the burden of and the responsibility of the safety and well-being of this nation, if you can't give some kind of words of encouragement, even in your criticism, it should be respectful. You can't say you don't think I mean that. You hear me let people come in here and criticize me. And as long as it's done in a way that is respectful, there's nothing for me to object to. I've had people call me asking me about, as though the election is still going on. The election is over. Donald Trump is now the president of the United States, elect. Soon he will be installed in that position, and he will have the weight of this, the burden of and responsibility of the safety of this nation on his shoulders, of which you are a member. It's not just to start criticizing the man before he do anything. He's now the president to be for the next 4 years. Criticism of him before he became president is one thing. But now that he's president, he comes in with a clean slate as far as being the president goes. As I told you, it's lots of things. It's a lot of things that people in politics. The one thing that I have learned in my little short 65 years of living in America and watching politics, I have watched candidates promise a lot of things Some knowing they was lying. Some really believing they was going to do them things. And got in there. And when the whole picture was laid out for them, they went gray and wrinkled real quick. That office ages people. And so, and I know, it's a lot of things that I would like to do for you, my people. But it can't get done because I can't get enough cooperation. There ain't a leader on this planet that don't find that out sooner or later. Leadership is truly a lonely position. When you get out there and everybody looking to you to solve all the problems, then you start realizing why God said, let us do this and let us do that. Well, that's the truth. So, y'all put your pitchforks and stuff up and try to help the man. All right? Because if you hurt him, you're just hurting yourself. You ever took your own hand and balled up your fist and hit yourself in the head? No. That ain't too intelligent, huh? They'd have you in a padded room. All right. Okay, it ain't no election now. The election been done. The majority of the people, and I'll tell you something else. This is white people's country. I told you if President Obama got in that position, it wasn't because of us putting him there. White people put him there. If white people had wanted Hillary Clinton, that's who would be in there now. Do you understand? And as I told you, I may not like the philosophy of those who are in the KKK, the Nazi Party, and all of that stuff, but this is their country too. And until you and I really understand that you should want to afford other people the same respect and courtesy that you want to be afforded, until we really, really live by that, the world is never going to be any better than it is. Because people don't mind doing things to you that they don't want you to do to them. So I'm, you know good and well that I did not vote for Donald Trump. But it was a whole lot of people that didn't vote for Barack Obama, that he was the president over as long as he was president of the United States. So now you respect, as in the military, even if you don't yet respect the man, you should respect that office. And the man will earn that respect by conducting himself in that office by a standard that office demands. I think it was wise on the part of the makers of the law that a president shall fulfill that office no longer than 8 years. Because when you have the kind of power that comes with that office, they know that power will corrupt you. So power that has almost no limitations should be limited to the time that you can have it. Do you understand? So that was smart. Sometimes you want some to stay in there longer, but you got to set a time for everything. And if you do that, you put protection on the whole, on the society as a whole. America is still a relatively young country, a baby, really. $200 years, 240 years. That's equivalent to almost 2.5 years old. I think about at 2.5 years old, most babies is just learning not to boo-boo all over themselves. So we want to do all we can to make our place of dwelling as peaceful as we can make it. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. I mean, so, this is something that we should all contemplate. So let's not spend the next 4 years campaigning. I mean, I'm through with that stuff for now. The one thing that I'm pleased about is that not only is he the president, but the party that he ran for is the majority in the Senate and the House, which means that if whatever happens in the country, there's no one to blame. No pointing the finger at the people across the aisle or whatever. Now the Republican Party can show what they can do for the country. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But now I want to say to you, my people, Black people, we live in America, but it is prophesied that we shall come out. We got to have our own. Because you are not going to ever be respected in the status of a free slave, free to just find work in this other man's house. He would not leave himself in that kind of condition. And if you are willing to leave yourselves, if we are willing to leave ourselves in the position of a man in the house of people who made slaves out of us, after they said you are free, and you and me are too lazy to start practicing and preparing ourselves to truly be self-determining and free, while we've been in the lap of a man who's a good example of how to keep yourself free. All we need to do is unite and do for ourselves what we see every other people doing for themselves. And if we try, I know that the other free peoples of the world, including white America, would help us. If you don't believe it, you go back and listen to the conversation that I had with the national director of the Ku Klux Klan, Mr. Thomas Robb. Nobody can respect a beggar. We run around here and we say we are men and women. Well, when are we going to start acting like it? I mean, as I was telling you before, I know that you mean well. There's no way that the movement, Black Lives Matter, they are right. But how can you believe that Black lives matter if you don't believe that Black lifestyle matters? Because the way you live your life is what will determine how long your life is. Why would you go and attach yourself to people who are known as terrorists? Why didn't you accept the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he was teaching, like I did? No one ever associated the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam with terrorism. They know we don't believe in weapons. So how is an unarmed man going to terrorize people that's got bombs and bullets? So they couldn't even fix their mouth to call me or anyone that was following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a terrorist. And instead, you go and join with these people that can't even agree on what a Muslim is. One calling himself a Sunni and another one calling himself a Shiite. And I have told you, and the Holy Quran bears me witness, that the dwellers of the desert are not Muslims. They were told that the sun would rise from the west in the last day by Prophet Muhammad. And I am that sun. Going around the earth building mosques to cause harm to Islam. That's what they've been doing. So I say to you all, it's time now that we unite. For the time is long past that we should unite. And pool all of our knowledge, our money, our labor, and every resource at our disposal. We should bring them together and work on behalf of ourselves and our people. As I told you, I don't wish harm to any people. I don't have to do that in order to get my people up. If you have to step on others to get your people up, you're not going to remain up even if you get up. If you have to mistreat others in order for you to be successful, whatever success you do achieve will be temporary. So I want you to remember these things that I'm sharing with you. Now it's time that we turn our attention inwardly. If you would give me a chance, black people, I would have you in heaven overnight. And you could be the example for all of the nations of the earth of how to put themselves in heaven overnight. Every nation has had a turn. Every people has had a turn to set the pace, to set the tone. And you can't point to no government on the earth that has been able to bring peace to its people. Name one. I have to borrow something that Donald Trump said now. What you got to lose to give me a chance? What? What have you got to lose? I don't get out in front of you and try to take your money and live high off of it. You can, I even put up a website where you can see everything that's being done with the monies that the few of you give me. I could do much more if you would just get behind me and give me a chance. But no. You hate yourself so much. You got to hate yourself. I mean, I look like you. And the reason you don't think I'm nothing is because you don't, in your mind, that's why if somebody say nigger to you, you get mad. Because that's pretty close to home, huh? That you must feel that that's really you. You don't get no rise out of me by calling me nigger. You look up the word niggard, Niggard, and then you will find that it means selfish and stingy, miserly. And you ask anybody that know me, is the Son of Man niggardly? And they will tell you absolutely no. So why should I get upset because somebody called me nigger? It's funny to me. Because, you know, that's the last thing a person have to worry about with me. If I have, even if I don't have, if I see people that's really, a person that's really in need and I could help them, I may go borrow it. You know, when I give people money, it's the money that belongs to my followers. I already borrowed that. The messenger wasn't lying when he said, I'll give you $20,000 or $10,000 out of my brother's vest pocket. That's because that's where he got his money from his people. I don't have no money. I got the money that I give and loan to people. I got that from you. And I do not waste it. But you said you wanted to help me. And I told you I want to help our people. Well, if you want to help me, you want to help me to help our people. So it's no sense in getting mad when you see me give some of our people some of your money. Because that is how you show that you truly care. None of you will attain to righteousness unless he gives out of that which he loves. Anybody can give you something they're finna throw away. That don't show love. But when you can have something that you value and that you need for yourself and see somebody in immediate need or more need at that particular time, and you say, well, here. Just on a promise. It's just like with me, I don't do paperwork and ask people, you know, you're going to give me this back or whatever. If I loan them to them, I just take their word. I know that's not business. They're not, but I'm trying to teach you to make your word mean something. If you want to be something, I'll tell you the simple way to be something. Make your word your bond. Make your word. When you give it, die before you let it fail. And I promise you, you'll be something. There's no such thing as a truthful man being nothing. Wherever you find a man that has the reputation of being truthful, you have found in this world, it's like finding gold or oil or something very valuable. I told every one of these that's with me, if you don't turn on me, I would never turn on you. I might fuss at you, but it won't be me walking away from you. You be the one walking away from me. I've lived up to that. The one thing that I fear more than anything in my relationship with those of you who trust me I fear to let you down. Anytime people look up to you, you should always be afraid to let them down. When people truly trust you, they will lay their life down for you. You should never let them down. Now, I forgot to do something else. I forgot to tell you that disagree with me, that you can come in now and give me what for about something that you disagree with me about. I'm always ready to hear disagreements because, disagreements, people who look and find fault or what they think is a fault in something that you are saying or doing. Do you get angry if you trying to get dressed and somebody tell you, hey, you got lint on the back of your suit there. Let me help you get it off. Do you tell them, get on away, man? Don't be telling me nothing about no lint. Or do you thank them? Say, yeah, please get it off. Is that right? Well, it's the same with, it's like, I remember W.D. Muhammad once said that the reason he used to, compare the teachings of the messenger to a garment. And he said, that you really like the garment, but you see a lot of holes in it and that kind of thing. Well, if you saw some holes in the garment, did it ever occur to you that maybe you was not seeing too well? If he saw holes in the teachings, what should he have done? He should have confronted the teacher instead of getting behind the teacher's back. There's a lot of things that I'll show you an example. Abraham was talking to Allah, talking to God Almighty, and he said, my Lord, most people don't understand. If I say Abraham was talking to Allah, you would say, well, I thought Abraham didn't talk to Allah. He did not talk to Allah by name. Allah in Arabic is a title. It's not a name. You see, let them come in here and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Allah in Arabic is the God. So when I say when Abraham was talking to Allah, I had to qualify that. The God. And he asked the God, what? My Lord, show me how thou givest life to the dead. Now, Abraham had been living for a long time. Huh? By his standard. Tell me something. How many of y'all have ever seen somebody in a casket at a funeral wake up and get up? You ain't never seen that happen. Okay. And you never will. All right. So when Abraham asked, my Lord, show me how thou givest life to the dead. The next question from his Lord was, disbelievest thou? He asked Abraham, do you disbelieve? Abraham said, no. He said, but that my heart might be at peace or at rest about it. Wise answer. Abraham understood that just because you don't understand something that the God says, that is no justification for disbelieving in God. Surely I know what you know not. That's the way God taught. That's why he can teach you. You can't teach a person if you don't know things that they don't know. In order to teach somebody something, you have to know things that they don't know. I didn't say know of. I said know. You know, a good example. You can teach a child the alphabet, then the child knows the alphabet, and you know the alphabet. The child knows of the alphabet. They don't know what they're for, though. Surely you know what they know not. Is that right? Okay. And now, so I want you to understand. Certain things I say that I don't like to hurt your feelings, but at this point in time, I want to tell you something before I get back to Abraham. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me that civilized means, well, first he taught me what savage means. He said a savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of themselves and is living life on the level of a beast. This whole world has been savage. That's why in science, they teach you that the life on the earth is broken down into plants and animals. And they teach you that man is of the animal family. That's a lie. I defy any anthropologist, any scientist to come in here and show me that man is an animal and be able to prove it. And I can prove that man is not an animal. And if I can't, I will cut you a check tonight. You see, you've been listening to people who claim to be teaching you that really didn't know no more than you did. They just learned how to speak with an authoritative tone to make you think that they knew something that you didn't know. A beast, an animal. I've never seen a real hungry dog, but I do know this, that I've had a dog before. And I had the dog from the time that it was a puppy. And I remember even as a puppy, I used to enjoy when playing with the little puppy. I could remember sticking my hand next to the while the puppy was eating. And I used to get a kick out of hearing her growl. It tickled me because you put your hand down there and it go to and I said, I gave the puppy the food and the puppy finna bite me. But so that is the nature of a dog. A dog will bite the hand that fed him. That is the natural instinct of it. Now, they have taught you and I that the first law of nature is self-preservation. It is not. Man was not created to survive. Man was created to serve. Man is not an animal. But as long as you were convinced that man is an animal, that justified you and me acting the part. I've acted it just like you. So it ain't nobody got no high ground to condemn the other one on. I ain't trying to condemn you. I'm just letting you understand that we all been savages. Then messengers of God were raised up and purified. The misunderstanding that was in them from being in a savage world, Allah changed them. It's just like people talk about they waiting on the rapture. They don't know what they're talking about. Waiting on the rapture. The rapture already took place. The raptured witnesses, those were the prophets. The last prophet, the last bringer of instructions in righteousness came 1400 years ago. And his name was Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the son of Abdullah. They didn't have what you call first and last names the way we do it. Yeah. And Jesus was Esau ibn Miriam and Yusuf. You see, the son of Mary and Joseph. Jesus. But as we looked at the histories of those men, rapture means great spiritual joy and peace, ecstasy. The one thing that all of those messengers of God had in common was the peace that pervaded just being in their presence. They were raptured witnesses, as in, then you bear witness. And once the raptured witnesses had delivered all of the messages from God, then the tribulation period came where there would be a famine of hearing the word of God. That's what you've been living in. Wars and bloodshed and just all types of evil being done by man to his fellow man. You see, no one is coming in here. I'm looking so much forward. You know, we've had people. I was going through some of the tapes that I had, and I was listening to some of the things Jim Jones was saying to his people. Jim Jones had people saying that he was getting them to pledge their allegiance to him, and they was let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I know you want to see it. Let me see. I know what I do. Oh, it might be in here. Well, it ain't in that folder. You all bear with me a minute. See, you have to really when you want to know where you're at in history, you have to look at history and compare history to what's going on now. You understand? If you know the word of God, the word of God says, and I want you to go to the part where, find the scripture for me. It says, I'm come that they might have life and that they might have it in more abundance. Find that for me. While I'm looking for something else over here. The 10th chapter of the book of John.
Someone had me very busy, needed to talk to me
Just a
about
moment.
something, so I just want.
The 10th chapter of John and the 10th verse, it says, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. That one verse there describes people perfectly. What does the thief come for? To steal. That's the first thing he's trying to do. The thief cometh for to steal. It's like, when you steal, what do? You take what does not belong to you and give nothing of equal value in return. Huh? That's stealing. And the devil's used to steal a hearing. But now he who listens finds a flame waiting on him. You notice people come here with me sometime and they sit up out there, been listening and then trying to fight me with what I'm teaching them. To steal, to what? And to kill. When the scripture says, when someone is stealing a hearing, you think about they sitting around and you don't know they're there. Is that right? And they watching you. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeks to kill him. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. They seek to slay the righteous and destroy the belief of those who believe. Huh? I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Just that one verse, if people had remembered it. When you listen to what Jim Jones had them saying, you'd know that in no way they'd have been there with him when he started saying that. Just listen and watch.
And in the drawer, and you picked out a pair of shorts and put it on, and they have the needle fixed with some poison on the end of it, so that we just touch his cheek.
Just a moment.
And I knew right then what someone
Was up to, but I want you to know I've not been off my feet. Oh. At this time we will receive our offering. Would you do me the kind favor, because I'm not feeling my fingers or my lips, and I'm speaking somehow, I don't know how. But it's a kind of a strange feeling that I went through. First it was vomitus and enormous pain, gastric pain. But as I said, it never caused me to get off my feet. You say, well, why do they do that to you? Do you need to ask why they do that to me? They that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. They shall revile you. They shall say all manner of things falsely against you.
They shall do unto them everything that they wish to do, and even kill you, thinking they do God a service. And if you're not getting persecution, you're not living godly. So I have my credentials. What about you? If you're not getting persecution, you ought to ask why. Because when you live for truth, you'll be persecuted. And if you're not getting persecuted, you're not living the just life. You're not in the body of Christ, the body of this revolution. Nothing happens just. Nothing just happens. Everything happens just. Out of the voice of Jesus himself. Jesus was away shore to teach people how to live, to get their head out of the sand or out of the sky. He said, don't pray to go to heaven. And even Paul said, don't look up to go to heaven. He said, the righteous faith saith on this wise, the word, heaven, God, is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thine heart. Don't say who will go up to heaven and bring him down, or who shall go into the deep and bring him up from the grave. But what saith it? The word is within thee. Heaven is on earth. That's the only heaven you'll find. God is here. That's the only God you'll know. Make yourself God, the 10th chapter of John. And he said, it is written, all of you are gods. He said, I'm no different than you. Everybody's a God. So Jesus is God, I am God, you are God.
So now, it may sound funny to you, but that's what happens when you try to go in the scriptures instead of waiting on the Lord. You see, for the scriptures say a lot of things that without Allah explaining it to you, you never would understand. As he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways or your understandings my understandings. Just like when Abraham knew enough to know that Allah was not talking about raising physically dead people up out the ground. And so Abraham was simply saying, well, I wonder what he means by raising the dead. And when he asked Abraham, oh, you disbelieve in me? And he said, no. It's not that I disbelieve. I was just want to set my mind at peace about it. Then Allah told him, he said, take 4 birds. And I remember the messenger said, Allah never did just come out and say things. He always spoke in a way where you had to dig for the meaning. That's what when Master Farad Muhammad was teaching him. He said he never would just come out and say something. You have to go dig for the meaning. That was to make sure that, if your heart was right, he knew that you would get it. A hint to the wise. Right. So once you have been chosen, you become like a seed that have been watered. It finds its growth. It finds its way. And so now with me, I am supposed to teach you the understanding that you couldn't go in there and dig out, because the only member of the body that can see, hear, and speak is the head. The hands can't find things on their own. The head have to guide the hands to everything and the feet to everything. But anyway, so Allah told Abraham, he said, you take 4 birds and then take a part of them and set them atop of every mountain. Now, if you're stupid enough to go and cut the birds up and go and, but because the first thing he did, he said, take 4 birds and tame them to incline to thee. And that was another way of saying, teach them to understand your call. And then he said, now take a part of them and set them atop of every mountain. Now, if Abraham was stupid enough to cut them birds up and go seeking mountains to put them on, put the pieces on, well, then that would have told him that Abraham was a fool. because a dead thing can't hear nothing. so it don't do no good calling a dead thing. But anyway, but you notice when you hear people talk about, I'm sorry, I know a lot of times things be funny to me, don't be funny to other people, but that's because you don't know what I know. And so don't think I'm crazy just because I'm laughing and you ain't laughing. I'm laughing because it's funny to me. But Abraham was also being checked to make sure that he was fit to be taught. And so Allah told him to tame them to incline to you, to hear you when you call them. Now, place a part of them atop of every mountain. And then he said, now call them, and they will come to thee flying. And then Abraham was thankful, you see. But now if Abraham had commenced to cutting the birds up, then, well, shame on him. Because, if you ask a question, then the question that you ask, if you were really up to the question, then the answer to the question should satisfy you. I'm the first man that ever taught you how to answer a child when they ask you, why is the sky blue? You see, white man, he told you a whole bunch of stuff about light being bent and all this stuff. I mean, he dresses it up and he sounds so, and that's lying. When the answer is right there in front of you. White light, across a black sky. Gray. Black and white make gray, don't it? Don't make blue, do it. And when you look up there for a gray plane, you can't hardly find it, can you? Yeah, I know you're right. So he could rule you because you was at rest. Your mind have been at rest. His was not asleep. Yours was asleep. Dead. And You'll notice, what do you say when someone dies? What does RIP mean? Rest in peace. Huh? So when you see someone sleep, you say he's resting, huh? That means he ain't moving. So, you know, when you can set things in motion, you are giving them movement. You are giving them life. Everything that's alive is in motion. Things that are at rest are at a dead stop. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So where many people, you know, it don't make no difference how wise I may sound to you. That don't mean I'm wise just because I sound maybe sound wise. That's why I'm so thankful that there are men out there like Mr. David Silverman. That man ain't care nothing about you coming up here threatening him with God. What kind of God you serving? That's got people. If people don't yet believe, you got to threaten them. So Mr. Silverman ain't no dummy, and I'm looking forward to finding out whether I've been the dummy. Because you can talk to any crowd of people if everybody agree with you. You don't find out how valuable or how worthless the knowledge that you espouse is until you meet someone who does not agree with you or believe in what you believe in yet. Because they are the ones who may have heard that before and was able to punch holes in it. And if you can punch holes in it, then it ain't no armor of God. Huh? Yeah, don't give me a bulletproof vest that won't stop bullets. It ain't bulletproof. Is that right? I just well not to put it on. Well, okay. I mean, I ain't stupid now. And unlike you, I know I didn't bring this into the world. If the truth I have, I didn't bring it here. It was already here and I adopted it. Do you understand? The truth is like matter. That's why we call it subject matter. You don't create matter, you found matter. If ever there was a time when there was no matter in the universe, that's what would be here now. We wouldn't have to worry about it because we wouldn't be here. Do you understand? You say it's just unless you found a way to make 0 plus 0 equals a number. Do you know how to do that? Well, if 0 plus 0 is always 0 and 0 minus 0 and 0 times 0 is well, as far as I know, mathematics ain't lying. Now, if you can show me magic where 0 times 5 is a number, I was told 0 times 5 is 0. What do you think? 0 times any number is 0. Huh? So, but 0 plus 5 is still 5. And that is the same when you are ignorant. Remember the scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then we'll add these things to you. But until you get the kingdom of God and his righteousness, ain't nothing gonna be added to you but misery. That's why even the wealthy people in this country are dissatisfied. They got plenty and ain't got no peace. And you know they ain't got no peace because when you talk to them, they can't set you at peace. They may make you laugh, but when you get through laughing, you still ain't at peace. I mean, I was thinking about that young man. Well, he wasn't so young because I think he was older than me. But I say young man because he always played the part of a comedian of something funny. And you always associate comedy with youth. You see, what was his name that played Mark? Robin Williams. And for all of the laughter that he could create in other people, he was sad. So, you know, I look at the world and, you know, Allah had told me, now understand something. Most people, when they call a person an evildoer, that means that they hate that person. But when I see an evildoer, I don't just see the person. I see the mind that's instructing the person. And I see the person as a victim and the mind as the devil that's the enemy of his host. Because an evil mind is the enemy of all flesh, because it will conduct you to your death. I mean, look, I'm walking around in a world full of evil. And kind of like with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They was walking around in fire. But the fire wasn't having the effect on them that it should have. Because one was in there with them, like unto the Son of Man. It's kind of hard to be in water and don't get wet. But actually, fish do it all the time. Were you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
That's why when you take them out, you can't hardly hold them. Right? Yeah. You see? Tell you something else. You and I, we started our lives off in water. And when we came out, we had a little wrinkle, but not much. Came out smooth, didn't we? But if you put your hands in dishwater and leave them in there for a long time now, they don't come out smooth. There's so many secrets that Allah is just anxious to share with you and me. But he can't do it because you don't let him. Because he cannot give the reward of the righteous to the wicked. You know, I'm 65 years old. And I can still sit for a long time and jump right up. And I've been doing what you've been doing. But my heart is not in it. And Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave me a prayer. He taught me to pray this prayer. He said, "Oh Allah, guide me among those whom thou hast and wilt guide aright. And preserve and perfect me among those whom thou hast and wilt preserve and perfect. And befriend me among those whom thou hast and wilt befriend. And bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant to me. And deliver me from the evils of what thou hast created, judged. For surely thou judgest, and there is none that can judge against thee. And surely he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced." So believe me, I know that Allah is able to preserve us. He preserves this earth from which we came. And he just itching to bless us. If we would only renounce our evil and return to him. That's why we have a prayer. Surely I have turned myself to thee, O Allah, striving to be upright, to thee who originated the heavens and the earth. To you who originated the heavenly and the earthly knowledge. And I am not of those who associate other gods with you. That's what a polytheist is. Somebody who believes in more than one God. It's like people say, they, I remember Jesus. This is something that I was given to say by Jesus. You never understood it. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You believe in God, and you get lost from right there. Then believe also in me. Now, I'm going to leave that right there for now. And let's get back to Jim Jones.
That if it is time for me to lay down my body, I will, but all the king's horses and all the king's men cannot bring me down until the time has come. Listen, all ye scoffers and poisoners, we're feeling good in the house of Jones today.
Did you hear what he said? We feeling good in the house of who? Of Jones. Now just listen now. I mean, now you finding out that they followed him to their death. They knew that. I mean, they knew that he was the one they was believing in. They wasn't believing in no Bible and nothing else. They were believing in Jim Jones. Huh? The house of Jones. I remember when I was growing up, when people got hooked on them drugs, he said, man, he got a Jones on him. So I told you, the people, they actually don't want to serve God. They want to be God. That's why you got all these brothers walking around here talking about I'm God. Well, the messenger told them, yes, God is man. That's true. But it ain't but one God. Then if you believe God is man, if you believe that when he told you ain't but one God, then you should know that he ain't talking about but one man. We don't call God the supreme beings. He's the supreme being. It's a difference. That's why, most of the time people, when they get ready to talk to someone, the way these people do in this world, they go and if they can, they find out what kind of, when they're getting ready to debate or whatever, they go and find out what they can about the person and try to figure out a strategy. I don't do that. I want, when I'm talking to someone, I want to be talking with them, not with preconceived ideas. That's foolish. That's one of the reasons why Muhammad Ali was such a great fighter and won so many fights. It's because people thought that they could watch his fights with different people and figure out a style for him. But Muhammad Ali didn't fight according to his style. He fought according to people's style that he was fighting. That's why every fight of his was interesting. He kept it interesting. You know, you don't use a sledgehammer to swat a fly. A fly swatter will do. So, if I'm what I claim to be, don't make no difference who I talk to. Excuse me. And if I'm not what I claim to be, my lie gonna find me out just like everybody else will find them out. I remember the people that was trying to condemn Jesus. Nicodemus said, he said, if what this man is doing, if it is of God, then he said, if what he's doing is not of God, it's going to come to naught anyway. So we don't have to do nothing to him. But if he truly is of God, and we fight him, then we may find ourselves fighting against God. So, that was an intelligent deduction. If Pharaoh had made that deduction, he wouldn't have got drowned. Because if wasn't no God behind Moses, no way, they can go out there in the wilderness all they want and do whatever they want to do. They'll be back. He said, you'll be back when you get hungry, when you get there, But if Moses truly had met with God, and what he was telling you about letting his people go was really valid, and he had authority, man, you flirting with suicide. You flirting with death. But Pharaoh wasn't smart like that. His arrogance made him blind and deaf. And the only thing was moving was his foolish tongue. So I want y'all to pass it around because this, I've been doing this for 40 years. I sure hate to think that I've been misleading people for 40 years. And if I have, I still have enough strength in me to acknowledge it in front of people and apologize and let you know that it wasn't done on purpose. So that's why I'm anxious to talk with Mr. Silverman, because he seems very, from what I have been told and surmised, he has proven a lot of people's religions to be just that, false. Then they get mad and don't want the man to talk. I told you the religious people in this world are bigoted. You don't have to be a bigot if you got the truth. But if you lying, then you don't want nobody to have nothing to say. You don't want nobody questioning you. Huh? So I will question him, and I will give him the chance to question me. And I will do it in front of you. He have not claimed to be anything other than a man that's not going to be deceived by all these people lying in the name of some God. Huh? You just seen a man here. You looking at Jim Jones here?
When we face the depression, the people that are the most unemployed, the greatest social problems, they're the ones that are going to go. Say it'll never happen to me. Oh, get off of it. The Jews, capos that sold out the Jews, they reserved the worst fate for them. They castrated them, made them eat their own gonads. If they didn't kill them, they sent them on to Israel so that the Haganah would kill them. All those Jews that worked so faithfully to sell out their brothers and sisters. And I got some Uncle Toms and Aunt Janes in here. So I'm all right. The man likes me, you good house nigger. You just so good. You're just such a good house nigger. When they brought that snake in here the other day, that rattler brought him in here and dropped it and just biting, hissing mad. All the people can tell you in Red River Valley, I've got that snake tamed. It won't kill anything anymore because I don't like killing. I don't even kill anything to eat. And that snake eats egg right out of my hand. He didn't like it. He fussed and hissed and I said, you cut that out. And I'd spank his little belly. And now he just crawls around. He's 5.5 foot long. He crawls around, lays on my shoulder, and any place people can handle him. Anyone can touch him now. Why would you worry about a little old green snake when you got all these white two-legged devils running loose? And a whole lot of black ones, too. A whole lot of brown ones. At least it's the most reasonable thing that I find to believe. If you're going to get involved with religion, reincarnation is the most reasonable thing to believe in. Otherwise, God is a dirty old man that ought to be raped. Yeah. Maybe that might straighten out the sky god. I don't know. And I don't know. That was a Freudian slip that some of you psychologists in my midst will have to analyze. Most sex, they say, is oriented in violence, so maybe there's something to that.
I would do anything, any means for this church. If anyone caused or tried to harm the church, or kill the president, or stake my life on this church, I want to protect the pastor.
I'm John Harris, and I'm a violent revolutionary, and I killed 3 children.
Your name? William Jackson. I would kill any government official that would stand in the way of our church progress.
Your name?
I'm not Toddy.
Who?
I'm not Toddy.
What would you do for this cause?
Oh, I would kill, murder, I do anything, you know.
Who?
Oh, I kill Nixon, Ford, and anybody else like him.
All right. What's your name?
Eddie Richard,
Who do you live?
1719 15th Street.
Who would you kill?
I'd kill the president. Oh, I would.
He got them all standing up there telling who they would kill for him. Whatever happened to thou shalt not kill? And at the end, who did they wind up killing? Now just listen. Some of these were some old people. Been up there talking about these some violent revolutionaries.
in my life. This revolutionary that Jim Jones calls for. My name is Marilyn Persley. I'm a violent revolutionary.
What's your name?
Viola Ford.
What are you, Viola?
A violent revolutionary. Beat something.
What are you, Beatrice?
I am a revolution missionary.
My name is Jimmy Anderson, and I'm a violent revolutionary, and I'll kill for this cause. What is your name? You are Richmond Jr.? We don't have it. Who's going to do it? I'm a violent revolutionary. I do anything for this cause.
Pat Keeler, I am a violent revolutionary.
What is your name?
Miguel de Pina.
What are you, Miguel?
Thank you. A violent revolution.
My name is Butch Baker, and I am a violent revolutionary.
I mean, he was out here, and now he is a violent revolutionary when the time is right.
Now look at that picture there. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it in more abundance. What if they had remembered that verse? And what if they had remembered, thou shalt not kill? And just ask the question, well, how can you say you're serving God or representing God and you telling us to go against his commandments? No, you the devil. And I'm out of here. Never should have been here. I never would have been there. I mean, you know, once you have actually seen death in all of its rawness, I promise you, you would not want to be in the war shedding nobody's blood. I didn't even never kill nobody over in Vietnam, but I saw dead bodies. And it ain't like on no video game, and it ain't like no movie. Those are real human beings. And it don't make you feel glad. And if it does, something wrong with you. And I promise you that the human nature is going to rebel against you eventually. That's what post-traumatic stress syndrome is. You cannot commit fratricide and be at peace with yourself. Because you are actually taking human life while being a human being yourself. And when someone asks you, why'd you kill that person? What did they do to you? Do you know them? You didn't even know them. Had never met them. And because of the color of their uniform, or because of they had a different uniform on than you, you saw them as the enemy. Can't do that no more. I couldn't do it no more. Couldn't take part in that stuff no more. I just couldn't do it. And I told them, I'm through with this. Just was let me out. And they let me out. You know, if I made war on you, could I cry foul? if you fight back. If someone is trying to take your life, or you trying to take somebody's life, how is it foul if they try to defend themselves and take yours? So no. Best thing, you show that picture there again. Put it back on there. Zoom in on it. Now that ain't no mock-up. That's what Jonestown looked like from all of the violent revolutionaries that he tricked into following him. So I don't want to see you end up in graves. If you let me, I will help you. If you don't, I have warned you. Anytime you find someone who can show you that I'm not the Son of Man, or show me that I'm not the Son of Man, I told you, didn't nobody come and tell me that I'm the Son of Man? Nobody. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad put the teachings out there, but he didn't personally come to me and say, now you the Son of Man. I just trusted that of everything he was saying about me, the black man is God, that the black man is the original man. And he even asked the question, who is the original man? He didn't say who was the original man. He said, who is the original man? Was talking about a long time ago. Is talking about right now. If you talk to everybody that was sitting up in that class and got that lesson, you'll never hear one talk about it the way I do. So even though he said is, they was thinking was. And then he answered the question. First he asked who is, and then as good as the next answer was, the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. But now, when you just get it like that, it don't really teach you anything. You got to know, just like in the public school system, the teacher's textbook had words in red in their textbook where it was just a blank space in our books. Huh? For tests. Well, the way the lesson read in my mind and reads in my mind, who is the original man? Because the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Yeah, but who is he? Which one of us? And see, I just put the word because in there. And if you don't know the scripture, you don't know why I put the word because in there. And so that is that question, who is the original man? That didn't just come out of thin air. It was created by the way the scriptures read. The scripture says that it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we shall be like him when he appears. Well, who is he? The firstborn. Who is that? The original man. Original man of what? Of the new world. So it's much to be learned. And I hope you will let me teach you. But either way, this is it. I want to, so I want you to be sure, and because this may be the last time I'm speaking to you, depending on what Mr. Silverman have to show me. Trying to teach people that don't particularly care about you anyway. You see, I don't have no bunch of followers, relatively speaking. Most people in this world, they don't want to change. And I'm an agent for change. And so it's just like how we started off in life. We started off in a crowd of little life germs that had no kind of inkling of the potential that was in us to become something so great that if we had any kind of thinking ability, we never conceived what we truly could become. A little creature that can survive for 72 hours, approximately 3 days, in the environment of the womb that it was designed to go into. 3 days was a lifetime. Never expecting anything more. Not realizing that compared to the 3 days, if that little creature could reach that egg, it would become a being that would make its lifespan seem like it was forever. Because how many 3 days is it in a year? Then you multiply that times 70. Or that little creature say, well, I live forever. If he could talk. Have you ever thought about the way a life germ looks? And then have you ever thought about, it's a big head and a little wiggly tail, right? Then you look at your brain connected to your spinal cord and it looks the same way, don't it? Those are the kind of things I think about. And life holds a great fascination for me. I'll be so happy when I can really talk to scientists and share some of the ideas that I have with them. Because I know that together we'll be able to bless human beings beyond words. But I have to wait. And I have to, well, I might be deceiving myself. You never know. I may just be delusional. But so far, no one has shown me that I'm delusional. But I leave that door open. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said of me, he said that the Son of Man, have searched the universe of man for that mystery God, and have came to the conclusion that there is no mystery God. You see? Yes.
Your sister, she left the comment. She says, "This will never be the last. Please don't say that."
No, I'm letting you know that even with great knowledge, we should keep some humility. It's a big universe. This universe is so big that the galaxy that contains the Milky Way and all of the stars in the Milky Way and our sun and solar system is all part of that one galaxy here. The collection of stars and planets that make up our galaxy, compared to the universe, is like one grain of sand on a beach. No, one grain of sand on the Sahara Desert. So would it be intelligent of me to be standing up here talking like, I know everything, and ain't no, if I don't know it, it ain't to be known. But that's stupid. You see, so no, I don't plan on not teaching you. I was told that of the increase of my knowledge and wisdom, there would not be any end. But what if the book that I've been reading is not true? If I've been believing in something that's not true. That's why I welcome people to come and show me, because it also gives me a chance to convert someone if I can show them. Do you understand? I don't want to just talk to people who agree with me. I want to talk to people who disagree with me. I mean, Mr. Silverman, he found out some things that I found out. So he's observed some things that I have observed. How bigoted so-called righteous people are. I mean, you meet someone who does not believe as you believe, and then you start manifesting that. I mean, you don't believe what you claim to believe. I never heard Jesus purposely insulting anybody. Jesus had a problem with the religious people in his day and time. Them was the people who was trying to murder Jesus. The so-called religious people. I serve the God of peace. That's why wherever I go, goodness and mercy follow me. I can go back. If I went there once, When I come back, ain't nobody frowning and scowling because I showed up. Because I practice the way of peace, which is to treat people as you would like to be treated. I mean, it's sickening to see people that claim to be so religious and can't even get along with others who are of their same religion. Believers are humble to other believers. They're not hateful. What do you think? You think you can just become righteous and don't practice? Show me something. You show me anything that you tried to become that you didn't have to practice. You can't even become a fool without practice. That's why you have parents. Because when they see you practicing your ignorance, good parents, they stop you. So don't you do that no more. That's just another way of saying, don't you practice that no more. Because they know that the more you practice a thing, pretty soon it becomes a habit. And so you do it spontaneously, without thought, without forethought. It just becomes a conditioned response. You practice doing good to people. You practice being kind to people. You practice speaking in a respectful way to people. And pretty soon it just becomes a habit. And then you are a righteous person. Be not hearers of the word only, but practicers of it. Practice means to do. So, now, I want to know how many of you have something that's been bothering you that you want to question me about. I want those who are around the earth to understand that, that have been watching the elections in America and whatnot. We are in the day where Allah is manifesting the hearts of people. I'm a person that truly believes in God. I don't just say that. I truly believe that Allah has always been guiding and that he's omnipresent. And nothing is happening on this earth without his permission. And the more I read the scriptures, I realize that everything is foretold. Just like I look at the people who openly now, that just openly, you know, they don't try to hide their racism. They don't, you know, I was observing with President Obama, the racist attitudes that have prevailed throughout this country. They have been crying for the people, the silent majority of white people. They have been longing for this. I don't, you know, I don't know what President Trump is going to do. But I know that there are people who feel that they have been pushed aside in their own country. And they blame black, brown, and yellow people and some of their own white people. They feel sold them out. And if the Congress had led the way, then the country would probably be going in another direction now. But the Congress led the way to where we are. You see, the duty of leadership, you know, let me tell you something. When I cast a vote, I'm saying, just like when I was supporting President Obama, I was saying that in that arena, he was more knowledgeable than me. He had to be, because he had information that I did not have. And so I cast my vote for him because I trusted him not to do what I think should be done, but to do what he thinks should be done that would make me better off as a member of this society. And you know, consequently, when I cast a vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary, I trusted that he would do the same. So even though I did not want a woman for president, I got past that and I listened to the vice president, the president, and Mr. Sanders. And they all said I should support her, so I did. But I also, you know, I didn't turn a deaf ear to what I heard from people when, I mean, people been saying they want to take their country back. And I understand. I mean, it's hard for people to take others standing up in their country that they know their fathers, their forefathers established. And as good as tell them, well, we gonna put in the position whoever we think is best. regardless of what you think. So in that sense, I'm empathetic to all of the dissatisfied white people that felt like they didn't matter anymore. You got people in this country that have referred to them as poor white trash and some of everything, as though they don't matter. Well, they done found out that they do matter. And so that's a good thing. Well, maybe now you won't just say, maybe now you won't just stand up and say that you're everybody's president. You really will be everybody's president and try to make life better for people and keep some kind of way for people to get up out of downtrodden conditions. But as far as my people go, we have a path that does not end here under this people. Our path began under them, but it ends in the kingdom of God. And I'm inviting you now to unite with me. And let's work together and move ourselves, with Allah's help, out of the way of people being able to blame us for their troubles. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You cannot stop people from thinking evil of you, but you can sure stop them from being justified. Am I clear?
Yes.
All right. So I want you to make sure you get in these classes. And you notice I'm not closing the class off to anyone. Your phone will dial just like mine will. You know what time I'm in here teaching? All you have to do is come in and listen. It's just like the sunlight. It's free. And it's open to everybody. I don't know what more I can say to you. But remember something. As I started off, I'm going to end with it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of themselves and is living their life on the level of beasts. Civilized means to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. And until you show me different, every two-legged human being that's walking around on this earth is of this earth, which means that we are family. And once we understand that, then everywhere we go, we will feel at home. You always feel at home when you visit in your family. Now, he asked the question, and he answered it. What is the duty of the civilized man. The duty of the civilized man is to teach civilization, the knowledge of civilization, to the savage. And he asked, and if the civilized man fails to perform his duty, what must be done? And he answered it. He should be or must be chastised with a severe chastisement. It's kind of like this. Parents that refuse to instruct their children while they are children wind up being the victims of those who they refused to instruct when those young fools grow up to be old fools. Then those parents get chastised who refused to love their children and chasten them. As I've told so many, you don't want to whip yours? Well, when they grow up, they're going to whip you. That's not just true for parents. That's true for governments. You won't enlighten your people? Then those same ignorant people going one day tear up what you thought you had. And it's your fault. Yes.
That's mad at what you said a few moments ago.
Mad at me by what?
He said someone sell this copycat nigga. We are in our own country. Ain't no one trying to do.
Well, you ain't got to go nowhere. What you mean copycat? Who am I copying? Tell them to come in here and talk to me. That's where you do that. You say copycat nigga. I wasn't aware that nobody else was doing what I'm doing. I'm not even aware of nobody else who's done what I've done. So I'd like to know who I'm copying. Come on now, you was big enough to type that. Why don't you come in and talk to me? Said, tell this copycat nigga. Okay, I'm trying to figure that one out. Are you going to come in and talk to me, or are you just going to sit there? You remind me of, I remember when this fellow was talking tough. Did you ever see Tombstone? This fellow was sitting around the table in the saloon. I mean, he's talking all kind of tough and telling people what he's going to do to them. And so Wyatt Earp walked in there and he asked the bartender, he said, why? It's a nice place. He said, why ain't nobody in here? And the bartender said, see that bird over there? He said he done ran all of the good clientele out of here. Said now we just get a few drifters every now and then. And so this fellow was over there at the table. He said, you back that ace again. I'm on. And he told me he's gonna bust him upside his head with a pistol or something. And he said, playing cards with you is like You two is like playing with a bunch of children. And Wyatt Earp walked over there and looked at him, just was looking. And he looked at me. He said, you got a problem? He looked up at Wyatt Earp and asked him, do you have a problem? He said, Wyatt told him, he said, yeah, I do. You sitting in my chair. And so he stood up and he said, you talking mighty tough for someone who don't go heels. And I guess that means that he wasn't going to stand and ready to fight. And Wyatt told him, he said, I don't have to go heels with a bird like you. He said, well, mister, I'm real scared. And Wyatt looked at him and told him, he said, you bet your life you are. I can see it in your eyes. And so Wyatt smacked him upside his head and he started bleeding. He said, well, mister, he said, pull that smoke wagon. He told him pull that gun. He called it a smoke wagon. Are you going to pull it or you going to just stand there and bleed? And he grabbed him by the ear and took him out of there. So you going to come in here and say something to me or you going to just sit there and tremble at your typewriter?
There's another comment saying, give me a little bit out of 5-year-old autism. I'm trying to put it to bed. Give me a little bit.
Well, why didn't you think about giving you a little bit before you came in here insulting me? You sound like you have autism.
Yes, sir.
Bunch of cowards sitting up out there insulting people. I don't have no stomach for that. I would much rather a man that be a man. If you got a problem with me, I'm here. I'm not typing. I'm talking to you. Hey, I don't have no stomach for cowards, man. And you want to offer an excuse after you've offered an insult. Now, brothers and sisters, that's one of the reasons why we are in the condition that we are in. You got people like that out there that's always looking for a way to keep you divided. What have I said or did that justified what he said to me? What? And then when you call him on it, he punks out. I'm going to tell you something. If I was listening to you, and this is the way I am. If I was listening to you and had a phone line that was open like a conference line like this, and I had something that you said or that made me feel that you wasn't really what you are making out to be, I wouldn't sit there and type nothing to you. I'd pick up that phone, dial in, and say, you know, because he may be watching on the internet. But either way, I would talk to you. That's why I have more respect for the man from the Ku Klux Klan than I do for you. Mr. Thomas Robb came in here and me and him talked. And we came to some type of medium. And he didn't come in here calling nobody nigger. And you remember Mr. What's his name? That the governor of the state had turned the land over to the federal government. Mr. Bundy, Mr. Cliven Bundy. And, you know, come to find out he was mad at the wrong people. The federal government hadn't taken over that land. The state turned it over to the federal government. But the governor didn't tell Mr. Bundy now. You see? And, you know, I can tell when people are trying to insult me and when people are just, you know, they like Mr. Bundy, he was very respectful. He wasn't trying to insult us. I don't never fault the person for being what they was taught. You know, you can't, it's not no child's fault for the way that he was raised. And you sure not gonna straighten him out by call yourself giving him orders. But if you are a reasonable person, then you can make people see that they've been told or taught wrong about you. If they are reasonable, if you are able to reason with them, you know, but you know, when people can't find fault in what you saying and it kind of cuts against them, the ignorant always will lash out at you because of their guilt. Why do you keep typing to me when you could come in here and talk to me? You just said you had a child with autism, and so you lied, huh? Obviously, the child is asleep. What did he say?
It's easy to text.
It's easy to text. It's easier to text than it is to talk? Oh, who do you think he's fooling? You know why it's easier? I think you're going to find that it's getting harder to text now. You know why? Because you're wicked. And Allah is judging you by your own words. When did it get easier to text than it is to talk? When, brother? You know why he's trying to hide. He's afraid that some people will recognize his voice and will know how foolish he is. To come in and insult a man who ain't did nothing to him but tried to help him. Sitting up mad at me because I told him the truth. America is not our country. It is white people's country. And that's your problem. That's why they keep on beating up on you. And because you ain't got sense enough to realize that it's their country. You know, when you know that a house belongs to someone else, you don't conduct yourself like it's yours. You conduct yourself like you know it's theirs. That's why I can live in Mississippi and go about my business every day, and white people respect me because I recognize that this is their country. But you walking around here in another man's house acting like it's yours. You been the butler that long? Just because you got a live-in job don't mean it's your house. So anyway,
So yeah, another man left the council.
yes.
He said, "Bruh, go join Minister Farrakhan."
No, I'm not going to go join Minister Farrakhan. I'm not like you, you bunch of groupies out there. Why should I go join Minister Farrakhan? Come in here and talk to me. You know, people talk that talk, but you know, he don't know nothing about Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan left the Nation of Islam following W.D. Muhammad way back in 75. I never left the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, what you look like telling me to go join Minister Farrakhan, won't you go over there and tell Minister Farrakhan to come join me? You know, I'm not the one running from meetings with none of these people. They running from a meeting with me. And look at you, you even running, sitting up there typing instead of coming in here like a man and having a conversation with me. How do I mean, you know, you all practice the ways that I have found to be like women do. Women write you notes and write you letters and stuff to disagree with you. They don't, and then tell you that I can't talk to you. Men don't do that. A man would rather talk to you. I always want to talk to people that I disagree with. All you want to do is sit up out there and write notes. You're not talking to me, you're talking to yourself. I'll tell you why most of these fellas write notes. It's because if they're talking, then they know I can stop them and ask them on what is the basis for them saying what they just said. They can't just keep on. See, when you're typing, you can just keep saying a lot of stuff. You ain't got to prove nothing. But when you in front of a enlightened person, that enlightened person can make you prove everything that you say, can demand proof of things that you say, instead of you just standing there just saying a lot of stuff. You see, anything I say, I'm willing to let you question me on. Because I know why I'm saying the things I say. You see, it's not I'm not the kind of person who speaks and then thinks about what I said later. I think about what I say before I say it. Therefore, if someone stops me in the middle of something I'm saying, and say, well, you just said so and so and so. Now, what makes you say that? I don't say, well, don't be stopping me or whatever. I welcome you stop me and question me on what I say. How come you don't let me have that same courtesy to do to you? Now, you just out of the blue come in here and tell me he gonna type me, why don't I go join with Minister Farrakhan? Based on what? You know, it's one thing I just learned from watching Mr. Trump. Now, President Trump. All of them people that was in positions of power in the Republican Party. Donald Trump didn't go join with none of them. And when people was trying to get him to do things the way they wanted done, he said no. Didn't he? As good as to say, I'm my own man. I don't need them to tell me what to do. Well, likewise. Now you want to come and tell me that I should go join with Minister Farrakhan, and I asked you a legitimate question. Why? Minister Farrakhan don't know what I know. Minister Farrakhan is not doing what I'm doing. How many so-called Muslims put themselves before the world and let the world attack them, or question them, or argue with them like I do? Name one. Name one religious leader that's doing what I'm doing besides me. And you come in here and insult me and tell me I should go join with some of them. That's like telling the sun, go join with them stars out there. Well, with all them stars out there, it was dark. Why would the sun go and sit next to one of them stars out there when them stars all together, all the stars together at night can't get rid of the darkness? And that one sun gets rid of all the darkness, and you can't even see them stars while the sun is up. The best they can do is their light blends in with the sun's light. That's why you can't find them, because the sun's light is greater. Give me something you got from Minister Farrakhan that's greater than what I'm teaching. Come in, point out what he's teaching or doing that's greater than what I'm teaching and doing. And since you want me to go join with him, that means stop what I'm doing and go over there and get behind him. Now come in and justify it. Justify what you're telling me to do. When if Minister Farrakhan thinks that, if you think that Minister Farrakhan has something greater, but then I've offered you the opportunity to just tell him he can host this broadcast and I'll be his guest. And then he can come and I will speak when he tell me, and I'll just question him and he can question me. Like brothers. And if he knows Allah better than me, I will submit immediately. Now go and make that offer to him. I tell you what, you know this fella that's typing to me now? I bet you he don't have Minister Farrakhan's cell phone or home number. And that's what's wrong with y'all now. You look up to people who look down on you. I gave all of you my home number and my cell phone.
Excuse me, son of man.
Yes.
I know you don't like flattery, and I'm not here to flatter you, but I really do believe that Mr. Farrakhan, as much as I love him, I really do think he should be following you. And I think a lot of these guys should be following you. I love T.D. Jakes, and I love a lot of these leaders. But I think that from listening to you and coming to class and really sitting down listening to you, I really do believe that you're doing way more than all of these guys. I get way more from you. In fact, you could speak for hours, man, and it's a shame when you go off. They know it, and I don't know what's going on with these people, but you are definitely the leader, and they should be following you. So I would never say anything disrespectful. This guy calling you a copycat, I've never seen nothing like you. I don't know what his problem is.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. I ain't never heard nobody call me a copycat. Copying off of who?
Why would he even say something like that? I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard anybody say. Copycat.
Well, when people are unjustifiably angry with you, baby brother, they always manifest an unjust position that they have taken. Because when you ask them to justify what they say, they don't have no justification for it.
Yes, sir.
I'm not above being criticized now. Don't get me wrong. But when you do criticize me, I do have a right to know why.
At least, that's right.
Tell me why.
Tell you why. I don't understand why you got to type. You saying it. Why you got to type? Talk to you. Why he can't just talk to you and tell you what his problem is?
Right. That's what men do. Men do that. When I was in high school, man, we did that.
That's right.
A brother said something to you and said, "What'd you say, man? You heard me. I said so and such and so and so and so." There's that, typing me a letter when I'm in here speaking. What is that?
They're running, son of man.
Running, brother, running.
They're running.
And I don't respect that. I don't respect that. Don't get behind the "I love you more."
Thank you, sir.
And I don't just say that. I know more than you all know. There's no way you can love me as much as I love you, because I know more of why I should love you. The messenger said, "A man who don't love his family don't need none." And I don't just love you in word. You're going to find out my deeds. You don't know things I'm doing for y'all's future. But I learned from white people that you don't go off and tell everything that you got planned for your people. That's why they have secret. They have top secret. Just like President Trump now. He's learning things now that he never would have learned if he hadn't won the presidential race. He's getting briefings now that he never would have got. And I guarantee you're going to see a change in his attitude. You watch what I tell you. Knowing more makes you more responsible. You see? And I'm going to tell you again, I don't wish nothing bad on his presidency. We live here. So their success is our success. So now I'm still waiting on these fellas that to man up and recognize that, look, I'm not here to intimidate you. I just want to know why you take the position you have taken. And since they don't want to talk to me, then stop typing to me. And you ought to be man enough to go back and take your insults down. You know, a real man, he knows how to admit when he's wrong. You see? So, you know, that's something you're going to have to all learn about manhood. If you want people to respect you when you're right, you show them that you have sense enough to respect them enough to admit when you're wrong. You know, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. You cry wolf enough, pretty soon people don't pay you no attention. Even when you tell them the truth, they don't believe you. I'm not known for disrespect. I'm not known for talking what I don't know. So you all make sure that you invite others to come in for Sunday. Pass it around that Mr. David Silverman, he's an atheist, which means he don't believe in no religion. And he and I are going to have a conversation Sunday. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm a person who, you don't have to beat me over the head to get me to accept the truth. If he can show me that I've been deceived by what have been brought to me, I owe him a debt of gratitude and a thank you. And at the same time that he showed me, then he'll be showing all of you that have been deceived right along with me. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, it's a big universe, man. And if somebody say they see something that you haven't seen, the best attitude to take is to, well, let me check it out before I start making judgments. Is that right? And I think we can do the same thing with the new president of the United States. Before you start making judgments, wait and see what he begins to do. All right? Okay, that's all we can do, is wait and see. Don't make judgments before the man do something. All right. So may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's Salam alaikum.
Your conference recording is on.